it going, everyone? Mega Masters here, and I need to come right out of the box and make a disclaimer for you guys. And that disclaimer is this. Despite having personal problems with Verlisify in the past due to a number of events, I want to state that this is a response video on his most recent video, Minimize and Evasion Are Balanced. This involves my professional and neutral opinions in response to several of his points he made in the video. I will be throwing away any personal biases aside against this man because this video is from a professional and Pokemon player standpoint, not a personal standpoint. So for those of you guys who don't understand and want to call this hate, that's fine by me. This isn't hate. I'm giving my 2 cents on the topic in a professional and calm manner. And also for those who want to call it an attack, well, it isn't. Fair criticisms are not an attack. Verlisify even said that himself in one of his past videos that has long since been unlisted due to controversial reasons. So anyways, allow me to get to the main points of the video, and I do want to apologize as my eyes aren't going to be 100% focused on the camera. I kind of did up some notes here to read off of, that way I can stay on track, stay as consistent and as tight as possible. I don't want to drag this video out. I'm hoping that this can be under 10 minutes. That way it's not, a whole bunch of rambling and shit. So anyways, the first point that you mentioned the percentage to enforce evasion clause, which was 66.4%. Now I want to add that this is from Smogon's rule set, since it's their domain and their metagame. Evasion was banned because they deemed it uncompetitive since it was an abuse in the RNG, random number generator, for those of you guys who don't know what RNG stands for, which is fair since it's easy to set up evasion and potentially never get hit. And then from there you can either stall out the battle with statuses and whatnot, or you can pass the evasion boost to a sweeper and 6-0 the team. From that standpoint, it's neither fun nor fair to battle against elements that involve deliberate abuse of luck and hacks. Another example would be something like Swagger. It was deemed uncompetitive due to the fact that you were deliberately inducing confusion, and on top of that, even though the opponent got a +2 attack boost, that basically opened up even more opportunity to have that Pokemon crippled and basically attack themselves and could potentially knock them out, especially if they have a high attack stat. But anyways, getting back into the swing of things, it's neither fun nor healthy due to the fact that it's an abuse of luck and hacks, and it's unhealthy for the metagame. However, and this is a big however, if you battle outside of Smogon rules, at least to my knowledge, evasion and sleep clauses do not apply anywhere else. So you are free to use whatever strategy you want, especially if it's a casual battle. But getting back into the percentage, do you see that number? That shows the amount of people who feel it's uncompetitive and unhealthy for the metagame. Now, I may not always agree with Smogon and their choices, but they do what's best for the metagame to bring forth as much competitiveness as they can without the deliberate abuse of luck-based moves, which basically compromises the competitive aspect of the game. So there goes my first point. My second point is that you mentioned the amount of moves that can hit through boosts regardless. From that point, that is correct. I will praise you on that. However, how many of those moves do you see in competitive play that you listed off? There's only maybe 2 moves that I see that are somewhat viable in competitive play. That being Aura Sphere and maybe Aerial Ace if you're a Technician Scizor, or if you are something like a Tough Claws boosted Mega Aerodactyl. But other than that, I don't see really any other moves such as Shockwave, Swift, Vital Throw, Feint Attack, moves like that. And like I said, those 2 moves I just listed off are really the only 2 moves that you see that are viable in competitive play. So what does that tell you that they're not using other moves that ignore evasion boosts? It's because that those moves are outclassed by moves that are more powerful and have more of a competitive impact in battle. So if everyone was forced to use all of those moves, which aren't the best moves to use, then what would that tell you if Evasion was not banned? It would be over-centralizing, which creates an unhealthy metagame, and over-centralization is another thing that makes the metagame unhealthy. For example, let me just see here. Greninja was over-centralizing. It may not have been the most powerful, but it was over-centralizing because it could learn literally almost any move type with the exception of Fairy. And you could just slap it on any team, and because of Protean, it ended up getting free stab in all of its moves. So, anyways, getting back on track here, I am talking about it from the perspective of Smogon. Like I said, if this was outside Smogon, whether it be casual or VGC, then that would be different since their rule sets are different. There are other status moves like Taunt, Haze, Roar, Whirlwind, Clear Smog, Toxic, Perfect Accuracy for Poison-type Pokemon that are more commonly used. However, with all of that said, those points do not negate the fact that Evasion spam takes away from the competitive aspect of battles since you rely heavily on luck-based moves, luck, abuse, and minimize, which is a deliberate abuse in luck. So that concludes my second point. My third point is this. You mentioned that there are no ways of removing all of the non-autonomous actions in the game. Correct. You are, in fact, 100% correct. There are things like secondary effects for moves that happen to take effect, such as misses, such as statuses, such as like flinches or burns or paralysis, poison, all that stuff, crits, misses, etc. They're all prime examples of luck occurring without control. However, when you have the ability to abuse luck and have it in your control more often than not, explain how is that fair from a competitive standpoint. As I've said previously in my first point, how fun is it to go up against a battler who abuses luck-based move and spam evasion to the point of not being able to be hit and then have them essentially having a chance to stall out the battle? Are you suggesting that for one element, we need to run moves that are outclassed by other moves to take up slots and potentially hinder that Pokemon's role in battle? Moves like Swift, Vital Throw, Swift, I actually have that in there twice, but we'll say Feint Attack, Shockwave, Magical Leaf, are very outclassed by moves that are used on a competitive level. If you want examples of it, then refer to Smogon's Battle Simulator Pokemon Showdown. So honestly, that's really all I have to say without dragging out this video anymore. So for those of you guys who watch this video, take it how you want. I mean, if you, after all what I said, if you want to say that this is hate, go ahead and say it's hate, because it's not. Like I said, despite me having personal problems with Verlisify, this right here is my 110 professional and neutral opinion. There are some things in this video that he stated that I can agree with, such as the factual parts like the moves that bypass evasion, and there are also moves that take advantage of minimize, such as Body Slam, such as Steamroller, such as Stomp. But how many of those moves do you see in actual competitive play? Do you see Steamroller anywhere? Do you see Stomp anywhere? Body Slam? Maybe. But if you're going up against something like a Drifblim, which is a part Ghost type, well then Body Slam's not going to do anything. So, anyways, this is all I gotta say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and well, if you did, if you agree with some of what I said or all of what I said, then feel free to thumbs up and let me know. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good day, and I shall see you guys next upload.